Hello and welcome to a brand new channel. This is my first video. I have decided to start reading books, not only for you all, but for me too. I have so many books that I would love to read, and I just never have the motivation to do it. So I feel like reading them together is a way for us to both learn. And I have read part of this first book, and it's not that it's a bad book. I should have finished it by now because it's actually a wonderful book. And it's about Hawaii. The name is The Secrets and Mysteries of Hawaii, A Call to the Soul, Pila of Hawaii. Oh, and also Planetary Crossroads and the Key to Our Future. So this is a little bit of ASMR, also just educational, and I apologize for the sound. I don't have a microphone or anything. I might get one someday, but I'm just sitting outside and reading this to you and to myself. You're going to hear some animals in the background. I have goats. You can hear the goats. Cats, dogs. You'll hear some birds. I have turtles also, but you won't hear the turtles. But first of all, a little background about my love for Hawaii. December 2017, I went there for the first time to run the Honolulu Marathon. And I immediately fell in love with Hawaii like anyone would. So we started off in Oahu, of course, for Honolulu Marathon. And we drove around the whole island. A lot of people don't realize how much there is to that island outside of Waikiki Beach. Surfing was really big there on the North Shore. But really, we only had a day. Pearl Harbor, of course. We only had a day to explore that island outside of the time that the race took up. And then we spent a week on the Big Island. And then we spent a week on Molokai, which is not the traditional place to go when you think of Hawaii. Not a whole lot of tourism there, and that's why we wanted to go there. A lot of people call it, the old Hawaii. It's still like it was, untarnished. It's just locals, not really tourists, no transplants. And it was really beautiful. That's where the leper colony is. So we hiked down there and hiked back. And at least back then, there were still a few lepers left there, and there is a cure, but they just choose to be there because they love it there. And on the hike back, we saw some wild goats, and goats are not native to there, but a king brought them there, and they kind of overpopulated and they became a bit of a nuisance. But it was really cool to see them in the wild. And for a couple of years, I was already wanting goats, and that kind of sealed the deal for me. When we got back, I was determined to adopt goats. And I know that with goats, the males a lot of times are killed at birth because they're considered useless. You only need a couple males to impregnate the females. So it's not really worth feeding them for a lot of farmers, which is really sad. So I always wanted to adopt male goats. And I looked all over, but it was just hard to find those type of goats unless I went on a farm and asked. So I just ended up going on the Facebook Marketplace and found lots of goats on there that needed to be rehomed. I didn't want to actually buy from a breeder, so we rehomed them. We got a family, 2 females that one had a male and a female, the other had 2 males, and then we had 2 odd ones that we got. And one of them, I just immediately knew what I was going to name her, and I named her Molokai, because that was such a special place to us, and she was such a special goat. She was black with red highlights. She had like a natural ombre. She had long hair that turned to red, and it reminded me of the red dirt in Molokai. And I don't know, she was just very special, very unique. And so I figured out her name first. The other ones took a while for me to decide because of the families. But anyway, there's 8 islands, 8 main islands, and I had 8 goats, and it just seemed perfect. And then the more I read about Hawaii, I learned that some people have actually designated a chakra to each island, and therefore a color to each island, and different stones, different flowers. So that makes it all the more interesting. So I suggest that you research that a little bit. But anyway, we'll get started on this book. I've read quite a bit of it, but I'm going to start from the beginning because I want you to hear the whole thing. It's an amazing book. Let's start with the back. I know you're not going to be able to see all of the words. This is more of an audio type of ASMR audiobook. Hopefully you get some visual ASMR out of it too. And I apologize for my voice. I was sick for about 2 weeks, and I'm not sick anymore, but I still do have a raspy voice. So in future videos, my voice will probably sound different. Okay, so the back of the book says, The Secrets and Mysteries of Hawaii, Pila of Hawaii. Oh, and I also apologize in advance for mispronunciations. I'm kind of familiar with how Hawaiian words are pronounced, but not completely. And I know there are a couple different ways to pronounce, like Hawaii could also be Hawaii, Molokai could also be Molokai, as far as I know. So I apologize if I pronounce any of these the wrong way. Hawaii, the place that all the world knows as paradise, the most remote place on earth, may hold a clue for all humanity during this, the most defining moment in history. This book reveals why Hawaii is the crossroads of all our mysteries. The Hawaiian people, their legends and culture, even the location of the islands themselves, hold a key that could unlock a giant door, revealing the pathway to our future. Pila of Hawaii will take you on a journey through time and captivate your soul with the life-transforming power that the island's sacred sites, folklore, and myths bring to those who are willing to seek it. Whether you are planning a trip to this tropical paradise or are searching for greater insights into your own spirit, the secrets and mysteries of Hawaii will open you to a world of exquisite beauty and power. And then a little bio. William Pila Chiles is a decorated Vietnam veteran with the Marine Corps Elite Renaissance Unit and survivor of a top-secret experimental program in guerrilla warfare. During a near-death combat experience, he had a vision of the future, which led to his home in Hawaii. Today, he is known for his psychic insights as a teacher of the ancient Hawaiian Huna wisdom. He is an NLP trainer and master practitioner and an ordained minister. Known as the Pied Piper of Paradise, Pila has captivated audiences internationally with his mystical, musical journeys of the mind and the electric response to his authentic Hawaiian chanting. Okay, sounds exciting. The Secrets and Mysteries of Hawaii. all of the cute little flowers. All right, dedication. To David Papa Bray, son of the great kahuna, Daddy Bray. Daddy knew what he was doing when he received his dying breath in the amulet, David. You have shown and lived the real power beyond the tricks of the trade. Anyone who has ever witnessed the sweetness of your blessings knows your spirit. The tradition of those who would carry the banner and the crest is shifting from the eldest and the macho to the one who has the real courage beyond the armor, the one who dares to be vulnerable enough to show heart. Power trips are no longer allowed on our planet at this critical time in her evolution. From here on, there shall be swift and severe consequences. This is what has caused the karmic genocide of all peoples throughout time. As we reach critical mass at this defining moment in all history, we as a race are beginning to sense that the future is not totally new. Here in the islands that our world knows as paradise, the indigenous tribes of the world are finding that their roots are the same. Legend tells of a time before history when these islands were the tips of a continent called Mu, with a dimension beyond the written word. Ancient chants speak of a star from whence we came. This legend is now coming full circle. As blood denounces blood and tribe fights tribe in power struggles that only put more nails in their coffins, the true mana still returns, the Mauna Loa. In the light of your passing, know that you were the chosen one, David. In my healings with you, I had intuited the past, the misspent youth, the abuse, all the while trying to live up to your father's concept of man. Still, despite it all, your sweetness has shone through. May this be what you are remembered for by all your family, students, and friends. Your spirit, like the spirit of the ancestors, lives forever in the hearts that you have touched, who will reach the hearts of others. Beyond the bloodline, call Ali, Royal, hearts of others. This is the higher meaning of passing on the lineage. It was from this place of love that I made my commitment to you and the Hawaiian people. For here is the only power that can heal an entire planet in her time of most desperate need. The full meaning and understanding of that power has been captured in one word only once. In all the languages of the earth, that word is aloha. Aloha nui loa David. Meiki mahalo. And I also forgot to mention that I named my cats after Hawaii too. So instead of each island, I named each cat after a place that we've been. So I had Waikiki, Kiki for short, and she passed away. Then we had Kona, and we call her Coco. And then we had Mauna Loa, which is in Molokai. And we call her either Lola or Nala. There's also Mauna Loa, the volcano, on the Big Island. But there's a town of Mauna Loa in Molokai. And then we have some stray cats that I've tried to keep it going with. Lava, Hibiscus, Biscus for short, and Lemuria, which a lot of people think Lemuria is the old Hawaii. And I will read a book about that later on. Okay, so, to those of Hawaiian ancestry, this is my mana o. I have no kumu. About the controversy over the old ways, I must clarify this. A Hawaiian recently told me, I wish I knew about the wisdom of the kahunas. My grandfather refused to tell me anything because of the curse. Now there is a generation of children not speaking Hawaiian who are, for all practical purposes, disconnected from their heritage. This must change. Naope and a few other special ones with a great deal of courage and diplomacy have brought back the dance. With few exceptions, the rest of the old ways remain kapu. Kahunas of the dark, claiming power, do not have it. They play the games of fear and pain that cost you everything. Others of you, the true kahunas, who still hold the thread of knowing, wait quietly. This work is dedicated to the ancient tradition as a tribute to the self-worth of the Hawaiian people. From my humble viewpoint, yours is the most important teaching and way of life that can be shared with the planet in her time of crisis. I do not claim to know it all, and I am not a learned man. Quite the opposite. Until a few years ago, I was dyslexic and could not read without great difficulty. Instead of continuing college, I ended up in a rice paddy, which led to a straitjacket. Since my near-death experiences in the combat of Vietnam, I have seen certain things about the future and the past. Things about the Big Island and her sisters. Things about the Hawaiian culture, particularly about the time before Kapu, which I refer to as the ancient way. Others have also begun to refer to the original teaching in this manner. Legend speaks of its return. I am not another self-proclaimed kahuna and do not call myself one. I am not a haole either, and less than a half-breed, but I believe it is my Cherokee blood that has called me home, the home I have been looking for and have never known on earth. Kahuna is a title I believe should be reserved for the Hawaiian people to declare as the pride and dignity of the old ways returns. By the turn of the century, this title will mean more than PhD. To me, it will always mean more than any of the titles that men bestow upon men. All I want to be called is your friend. To someday be called brother would be the highest honor I could know, and the real welcome home. At the threshold of any time of change, it is necessary to survival to clarify the sociological belief systems. This determines the health and very sanity of a culture. No matter what the individual beliefs are, we are all influenced in this manner. Since this is the time of greatest change in all history and survival of the planet is in the balance, all her citizens must take a cold, hard look at this belief system, which forms our foundation for living. We must glean what is true before going on, leaving behind what is no longer valid. A time of change doesn't invalidate everything. Indeed, the so-called New Age may not be new at all. There was something strangely familiar coming out of all the strange and radical trends upon us. For those seekers looking for answers, I offer that a key to the future lies in the past. For you, the Hawaiians, I offer that the answers lie in the blood. Ali'i is not what you think it is. Take it from a half-breed who has lived the betrayal of the only war in history where there were no heroes. The royalty you seek is not in the lineage passed down by man. It is within you and your acceptance of your own self-worth. It is easier to remember if you have a drop of Hawaiian blood, for the spiral of the memory is more complete within you. The time has come to bring your story to light, for it is shared with tribal peoples the world over. Their roots are the wisdom you know as Huna. Since the mid-80s, a sojourn has taken place on the Big Island of Hawaii. Shaman returning here from all over the world are finding that the teaching is the same. From the American and Canadian Indian to the Maori and the Aboriginal, their kahunas, shamans, know and together hold a key for all humankind, one that can unlock our future and see through the clouds, a key that can only be turned by the child, one who has put aside childishness, one who has had the courage to embrace innocence again and regain the power, the childlike wonderment. Come, take another look at a small piece of the most wonderful and powerful teaching in the world, the teaching that was once a way of life for you, the original stewards of the garden that the world calls paradise, and the stewards that legend knows as the children of the rainbow. So that is the dedication. Here are the contents. We have acknowledgments, Paradise Found, Part 1, Lifting the Veil, Vacation, the New Dimension, How We Lost the Way, a Hawaiian Legend, The Secret of the Hawaiian Mystique, War is No Fun, Let the Adventure Begin, Part 2, The Island That Has Awakened, The Big Island, Doorway to the Other Side, The Connection with the Great Pyramids, that should be interesting, Liquid Earth, Ho'ihi, The Crossroads, Heiaus, Sacred Spots, The Paranormal, Friends from Forever, Part 3, A Crossroad in Time, A New Look at Ancient Wisdom, The Way Home, Part 4, Echoes from an Ancient Future, Hawaii, The Call Home, The Symptoms of Aloha or Inner Peace, and the epilogue. And this video, and probably all future videos, are not going to be edited. So I apologize for any errors that I make or any background noise, but I will not be editing this. This is just pure, raw video, audio, ASMR. And I hope that does serve a better ASMR purpose by doing that. Acknowledgements. To my fellow soul traveler, Claire Kalar Chules, known also to me in this lifetime as Mom. To Mimi, who taught a boy to believe in magic and gave him a precious legacy, the thread of a dream and the reason to hang on. To Krista, Patty Rose, Jennifer, and Brian, my joy along the way. Alright, and here is Paradise Found. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and save that for next time, but it will be really soon. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far and that you're excited and anticipating the rest of the book. I will read this probably more in sections than chapters because some of the chapters are short, but as you see, there's only 4 parts. So I don't think I'll read a part at a time. But anyway, stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining me already. Look forward to talking to you all very soon. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.